has concluded. The member for Port Adelaide.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is again to the Prime Minister. Is the Prime Minister aware that the Energy Council has called new coal-fired power stations uninvestable and said the industry has no plans to start building new coal-fired power stations? Energy Australia has said coal-fired power is a legacy technology. It's a solution my grandfather would have built. AGL has said we do not believe any private capital will invest in new coal plants, and Origin has said it's unlikely we'd be an investor in new coal. So how on earth can the Prime Minister suggest twice today in parliament that coal-fired power might be around
forever? The member's time has concluded. The Leader of the House will cease interjecting. The Minister for the Environment and Energy.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I haven't had a question from the member for Port Adelaide for 250 days, Mr Speaker. He's lost his seat. He lost his seat. He lost the presidency. Now he's lost his relevance, Mr Speaker. Now, the reality, Mr Speaker, as the Prime Minister said, coal is a critical part of our energy mix. It makes up around 70% of the capacity in the national electricity market. And the member for Port Adelaide knows what happened in South Australia when the Northern Power Station closed and the wholesale prices went up by more than 80%. And the member for Maribyrnong now turns his back because it was a Labor government of Victoria that tripled the royalties on the coal-fired power stations in Victoria, saw the closure of Hazelwood, which also saw wholesale prices in Victoria going up 80%, Mr Speaker. And now it's up to the Labor Party to tell the workers, the blue-collar workers in the mines and the power stations across the country, that their policies will close them down and put them out of a job. Will they go to the electorate of Flynn and tell the 230 workers at the Gladstone power plant that under their policy they'll be out of a job? Will they go to the electorate of Gippsland and tell the 500 workers at the Yallourn power plant that under the Labor Party's emissions intensity scheme they'll lose their job? And will they go to the member for Shortland's electorate, Mr Speaker, and tell the 300 workers there at Vales Point that under the Labor Party's policy that they'll lose their job? Now, Mr Speaker, when it comes to coal, we know that you can't trust what the Labor Party says, because the member for Shortland is the Shadow Minister, Assistant Minister for Climate Change and Energy, and he proudly put on his website, about the Carmichael mine, and I quote, "I welcome the jobs that it will provide in Queensland," Mr Speaker. Now, what do you think his website now says, Mr Speaker? What do you think the member? He's gone to the school, the same school of websites that the member for Barton went to, Mr Speaker, because now his website says the following: "I remain opposed to the Carmichael mine." Mr Speaker, I remain opposed to the mine. So the Labor Party, the Leader of the Opposition, he will go to the miners in Mackay and tell them he supports coal. He will then go to the baristas of Batman and tell them that coal has no future. Mr Speaker, don't look at what Labor says, look what Labor does. Only the coalition can be trusted to deliver more reliable and affordable power.